Hey guys, we're going to be doing another kinetics, well, I guess not another one, just a kinetics experiment. And there's some things that you guys may not know, so I just want to go over some things with you. You're going to be watching a video, and the guy's pretty good at explaining everything, and he does all the lab work for you. But I just want to make sure you know how to do some of these data table things, and either using your calculator or Excel. So you're going to get to the point in your data table where he is going to give you concentrations of malachite green, and he's going to give you absorbances, and you're going to have to plot them in a graph. So if you look on here, you can see that I've put the concentrations right here and absorbance here, and I just want to walk you through the steps on how to make a graph through here if you don't know how. So I would highlight my cells, then I'd go to data, I'd go to insert, and I'd click on the scatter plot graph. I just pick the first one, that's good enough, that's what we want. And then we have to find the linear regression of this line. So if you click the graph and go to, sometimes it's under layout, it's under add chart element for mine. To get to this spot though, you have to click the graph, and you see this chart tools. Make sure you click on chart tools or you won't get these options. So it's either under quick layout up here or mine's under add chart element. You will see something called trend line, and mine is more trend line options. That's what you want to click. And then once you're at more trend line options, that's not what I want. There. I don't know why it's not giving me my more trend line options. Let's go back and let's click linear first. And now let's do more trend line options. There we go. So you may have to click linear under your layout or under your add chart element first, and then trend line, and then more trend line options. When you're over here, make sure linear's clicked, and down at the bottom, display equation on the chart. This equation is going to be your best friend. I want you to copy and paste these charts onto a Word document, and I also want you to label them. So make sure you label what your axes are. If you don't know how to do that, you can go up to, mine's under add chart element. You can do axes title, chart title. You can pick where you want it and stuff like that. Okay? Your horizontal axes, your vertical axes, etc. So make sure this will be your first graph you need to save. Make sure it's all labeled properly, and make sure you have this equation on it, because you're going to have to use this equation for the next part to calculate the concentrations. Okay, so you're going to need this. You're going to need this equation right here. For this next part, so that's the equation that we just had. Y equals 94,819x minus 0.0194. You need to get x by itself. This right here is going to be your absorbance that you're getting from the next experiment. You will have y for this next part. So you will have this absorbance filled out for your first kinetics run for your 0.01 molar OH. You will have that done. It's either 0.01 or 0.10. So what you have to do is you have to rearrange this equation, and it's just y minus negative 0.0194 equals x, and then divide by 94,819. I'm going over this because I know you're going to have troubles with the math. This x that you're finding, that's your new concentration of your malachite green. So you will have a couple of absorbances. I believe you'll have 6 or 7 of these to do. You have 6 or 7 Ys, so you'll have to calculate this to get the 6 or 7 new concentrations of X. So this X is your concentration of your malachite green. Okay? Next thing in your data table, this is horrible. This is not, I'm trying to make it easier for you. It's all cattywampus. So this, now that you have the concentration of your malachite green, you have to fill in your data table to find the natural log of malachite green. And then the next column is 1 over the concentration of malachite green. So you will have all these values in your data table. You will then have to go back to Excel. You have to go back to Excel, and you will have to put your data in here. So you will have time, and then you will have your concentration of malachite green. And you will be putting you will be making a graph with this. So you will have all your data filled in here. You will have to go up here to Insert, Scatter Plot, and you will have to make your data table. Again, you will have to label your axis and do your chart table. So this will be concentration of Mg versus time. Your time is going on your x-axis, and your concentration of Mg is going on your y-axis. You will have to save that data table and copy and paste it into a Word document. You will then do another graph, natural log of the concentration of Mg. Again, time is on the x-axis, the natural log of malachite green is on your y-axis. You will have to do another graph, highlight your cells, insert, scatter plot graph, label your axes. If you forget how to label your axes, remember you have to click on your graph, go to Chart Tools, click on either Quick Layout or Add Chart Title, and you'll see like axes titles, chart titles, etc. Save that graph, copy and paste it into the same Word document. You will have one more graph to do. It'll be 1 over the concentration of Mg. Same thing. Highlight your cells, do your graph, label your graph, copy and paste. All right, those are your 0 order, 1st order, and 2nd order graphs, just like we've been doing in class. You will have to look at one of them. One of them will be linear. Linear is the winner. That's the one that is the correct order for your hydroxide. Then there is another experiment. It's part 2. You are doing the same thing with another hydroxide concentration. This one, I believe it's 0.05 molar. So you will have everything the same. You will have same data table with different numbers. You will do these same graphs with different numbers, obviously. Okay? That will help you with all of this. All right. And that will help you also figure out the order of your hydroxide. All right. Everything else is pretty straightforward. There should not be any problems here. If you don't want to do your first graph, if you want to use your calculator, you can. So I already have my values in here. You saw them in there before. You can get your linear regression line. You know how we got it off the graph in Excel? Well, if you go into Edit, well, I guess you go to Stat, Edit, enter all your values. These are your concentrations of malachite green, your initial ones. These are your absorbances that they tell you to use. Okay, so put your L1s, L2s, fill in your data table, and then press Stat again. Go up to Calculate, scan down to Linear Regression, enter, and right there is the same equation. Your equation is y equals ax plus b. Well, you plug in your a value in the a spot and your b value in the b spot. And you will end up, if you look right here, with the same equation that we just did on the graph. You can also rearrange this equation, and then you can graph it if you want to. Some of you can do stat plot, some of you can just do graph. You have to rearrange your equation though. You have to like put, if you go up here, you see this y equals, you have to put what your y equals. Your y equals 94819x minus your 0.0194. I had it in here before. Boop. Minus, sorry. It's late and I've been here all day. Alright, and then if you graph this, it worked perfectly for me earlier. Let's do zoom. Let's see if this will work. Well, for some reason it's not working for me. So, we do. Maybe it's thinking, but it's probably going to be easier for you guys to do it on your computer anyway, with your Excel, because you have to copy and paste the graphs, and you won't be able to do that on your calculator. But you should use the calculator for the other lab. Alright, so I've given you a lot of information. I've given you videos, but you can watch them 15 times to help you. If you have any questions, just let me know.